Hey kids, welcome to lesson 4, Controlling Memory with Variables, part 7. Text and variables living together. Sometimes it's useful to display text along with the value of a variable in the same line of output. To do this, you use the plus to attach a variable onto a literal string of characters. We have an example down here. I see that I have a variable score, which equals 0. I'm going to write current score, we see some quotation marks here, plus score. So it's going to call that variable. So it should say current score is 0, I think. Notice that the plus operator has two different meanings in JavaScript depending on what type of data you're applying to it. Click the explanation below for more details. If both operands are numbers, plus means to add to those numbers together. All operand is a fancy math term that really means the object or quantity is being operated on. If we think of the example 3 plus 3 equals 6, 3 plus 3 are your operands. And you can think of coding a lot like that math problem. So if both operands are numbers, plus means to add those two numbers together. This is a standard addition. It works both with the numbers and with variables that contain numbers. And we have an example below. Variable num1 equals 5 plus 7. Variable num2 equals num1 plus 10. In this case, 5 plus 7 is 12. So variable num2 would actually be 12 plus 10, which is 22. Because num1 is a variable that holds a number, and 10 itself is obviously a number, in this case, the plus will do an addition like you would expect. So in that case, it's just math. String things together. There is also another way that you can use this. If either of the operands is a string, the plus treats both as if they were strings and combines them to create a single string. Tip: it's common to want to sandwich a variable between some text and displaying it. You can string together multiple pieces of text and variables using the plus operator. We have another example here. Variable numLikes equals 7. We're going to write to the screen, so far, we're going to write that exactly because it's in quotation marks, plus numLikes, and numLikes is 7. And then we're going to display something else exactly on the screen, people like this page. So we would write, so far 7 people like this page. We have a misconception alert. The key thing to understand about the plus symbol is that it can only do arithmetic addition if the values on either side of the plus are actually numbers or variables that contain numbers. That means you can't do Mr. Rhodes plus Mr. Rhodes. And if the plus symbol cannot determine whether the value is a number, then it is assuming it's a string and converts everything to a string and tries to concatenate it. Well, what's concatenate? That's another fancy word that says links things together in a chain or series. We're learning math and English and coding today. What a fun day. The computer relies on you, the programmer, to make sure the type of data stored in a variable is appropriate for the task at hand. On the next screen, you'll have to play with this a little bit, but you'll write a statement and display in a mix of text and strings from here on out. Sounds like a lot of fun. We have our do this. We have given you a starting code shown below. You should modify the write statement on line 3 to combine text and variables together to make the app display a single line of text shown below. And this right here is what we want. We want it to display you have 3 lives left with a score of 0. Let's take a look at our code here. We have variable score equals 0, another variable lives is equal to 3. Write currently says change this text. So if I hit run, it should say change this text right here. There it does. All right. We need it to say you have 3 lives left with a score of 0. Let's erase this. I know it has to say you have in the quotation marks. Then I'm going to come over here and I want to string things together using that plus sign. So if I use that plus and maybe link it to the variable lives, I can get it to put up 3. So I'm just going to type in lives, no quotation marks. I'm going to do another space. It says lives left with score before I get to my next variable. I think I'm going to do another plus sign because I want to link this together. Quotation marks because I want it to display exactly as it is on the screen. Lives left with score, colon. Come over here, do another space, plus sign, and I want to link it to the variable score. I think based on what it said above, this will display just like it is in our example right here. Let's go ahead and hit run. Well, it did display, but we have a small problem. My little 3 is getting squished there, and my 0 looks more like a fun little emoticon than it does anything else. And while I like surprise person, I kind of want this to look a little better. Well, looking at my code here, I know right will do exactly what I want on the screen, and I'm linking these together. I assume the code thinks that these should be right next together. So if I just put a space after that, and then maybe a space before lives, it'll give a space there. And how about we do a space after score? That should put the spaces in here, and then it should look more like our example there. Reset, run. Looks exactly like it to me. That's all we really had to do in this lesson. Let's see if code wants anything else. Nope. All right, kids. Good job. I'll see you on the next lesson.